I've been struggling on and off over the last, I don't know how many years. And a lot of stuff has happened. For people who know my story, you have an idea of what I've gone through. For people who don't, let's just say it's been a lot. But one big one is my mom died almost 4 years ago now, 2021, September 4th. And I've had for the last 2 years, I've had this big stack of boxes of what's, remaining of her life, her story, her belongings at the back of my home dojo. And like there was so much stuff happening, like when she was dying, after she died, so many horrible things happened to her and to her, like her home, and like so many things were happening. It was just like awful stuff. And my sister and I have both really struggled with going through her stuff. Like we got a whole bunch of stuff done when we were packing up her condo and getting ready to sell it. And we gave a lot of stuff away, a lot of furniture, clothes, whatever, but we had, this big stack of stuff still we had to deal with, and it's been so hard. And so I said, I'll just take it home. I have room for it. We can sort it another time. But we've both been struggling still because of all the awful stuff that had happened to our mom. And but now it's like every time I go downstairs to train, which is every day I work out, yeah, I see this big stack of boxes, and anytime I open a box, it's like I'm hit with this. It still smells like her, and so I've been like trying to work through it because I know I can't just carry this stuff forever, right? I can't. I have to face it, and I've realized that a lot of my grief, my grieving process is still wrapped up in those, like it's in those boxes. Like I haven't, so many things happened with losing my mom, with having a stalker, quitting the dojo I was at, dealing with harassment, my ex kicking our kids out, all of the like messy, messy divorce and counseling on all this stuff we've gone through, that I just haven't had a lot of time to grieve, or like I've just done it in bits and pieces along the way, and I haven't been able to totally process all of it. So I've realized recently that a lot of this stuff is holding me back, that I've just had this, like I haven't been okay, and it's okay to not be okay, but I want to be okay again. And I've just been missing something, like nothing's wrong in my life, but nothing's quite right. Like there's just this, like I'm doing better than just surviving, and I've been in that place before where I'm just barely getting through it. And I'm better than that now, but I just feel like everything's kind of flat, and I just want to have my, like I have my sense of humor back, but I don't know, I don't have that joy back yet. I don't have that optimism that I've always had. I've always been a super optimistic person, and yeah, everything's kind of flat. So I've realized that I need to sort through all of this stuff and work through all of that grief, as much as difficult as it is to process and go through all of her stuff. Um, because like she's got, I mean, she's kept everything, and she's kept, which is cool, but it's just a lot. And she's got stuff from my dad, like my dad's, it's like, I think my dad's wallet and ID and all this stuff, like he died when I was 10. And so there's just so much stuff packed into those boxes. So I've been lately going through it, and I had bought a shredder way back when we were sorting through my mom's estate, because she was such a pack rat, super tidy, super neat. You would never realize how much shit she had in her home because she had it so well organized. But oh my God, like she would keep every envelope, like I've been finding utility bills back to the 80s. There's like her mortgage payments from the 70s. It's crazy. Like my parents bought their house in 1971 for $19,000. And it's cool to go through all this stuff, right? And it's like, oh, fuck, $19,000 for a house. But it's also like, it's a lot. So I've been shredding this stuff. And yeah, certainly, burning it would be faster, but it's actually been really good going through this process of shredding all of this stuff, because I'm realizing how much stuff I hang on to, how much stuff I have, and I never want to put my kids through this, where they have to go through all of like this, like so much paperwork and so much stuff after I'm gone. I mean, hopefully we all live forever, right? But it's just so much. And it's like I'm realizing how much I hang on to and how much I need to clear out and purge myself. So it's been really helpful for that. Going through the hassle, the frustration of, oh my God, this is so much work, is good for me, because I realize, well, one day if it's like, if I have all of my stuff like that, someone's going to have to go through it too. And I don't want that. So it's better that I do that now, right? And just lighten the load. And like I've always been, I think even as a kid, I've always been drawn to minimalism, having a like simplicity. And I always felt overwhelmed by too much stuff, too much clutter, and too much mental clutter. I lose clarity and focus. I get really scattered. So it's been a really good process for me going through her stuff like this. And then I'm finding all the cool, like the memories and of course at first everything is sentimental, right? It's like, oh my God, this gas bill for 1981, but after a while, like, because it's, it's got her writing on it or it's got my dad's writing on it. But after a while, it's like, no, I can go through that process of going, oh, remember this, and like piecing it all together, and then I can let it go. And it's been really good. Um, so yeah, I've been doing that. I haven't cried on camera in a while, so I think this is overdue. But I've been doing that, and it's been really good. And at the same time, I've needed to take a break from social media because I'm finding, oh, like lately, I've got another video popping off on Instagram, and whenever that happens, my audience grows, which is good. But the people who start following me, some of them, like there's people who never would have followed me, and that's totally fine. But some of them are people that I don't want following me or I don't want commenting, and I'm getting a lot of like trash comments and gross DMs again. And it's like rape threats and death threats and all sorts of awful stuff that I've been reporting to no avail because Meta is trash. Meta is trash. And Meta is all about divisiveness. So, of course, I post something where like, oh, I'm showing off my cleavage and that video gets flagged, but someone makes a death threat or a rape threat to me, and that's totally cool because it's Meta. Yeah, I have some grapes. But anyway, so I needed a break from that too. Like every time I go on, my different socials and read the comments, and it's like, oh my God, I can't deal with this bullshit. I can't be dealing with toxic garbage on the internet when I need to process all of this important stuff. And at the same time, it's making me realize like, I'm doing this purging, I'm doing this, I'm on this minimalist quest right now. Like I'm not a like hardcore minimalist, but I really do want less stuff and less clutter and less, I want my life to be simpler. The question that I'm asking myself all the time, and it's been really helpful, is like, any particular thing that I'm doing or hanging on to, is this making my life simpler or more complicated? And some things it's pretty clear that, it's fitting with my values, and some things it's like I'm really having to think long and hard. Okay, the way I make videos, the way I keep my home, the way I like my daily schedule, are these things making my life simpler and therefore better? So like, because then I have more time for the things that matter to me, or is it making it more complicated and making me more stressed out and overwhelmed? And so yeah, it's been a good process. And I go through this sort of, I don't know if you call it an existential crisis. I think it's like a values check-in every now and then where, sorry, I'm really stuffed up. I need to check in with myself and see like, am I living in accordance with my values? And every now and then I do have this dissonance, right? Where it's like, okay, the way I'm living, it doesn't fit with what I want. It doesn't fit with, the way I'm making videos doesn't quite fit with the way I want to do things, with what I'm aiming for, with my goals, with growing an audience and building a community. And so every now and then I have to do one of these sort of like pauses, take some time off, get off social media, get away from all the noise, because I do find a lot of that, like all of that just does become noise in my head, and it becomes really hard to find clarity and focus in those times. So yeah, it's been really helpful to take a bit of a mental break and figure out how I want to live my life. And I need to keep doing this. And the reason I keep, like every few months or so, I have a moment like this where I need to stop and, reconfigure, is because I'm not living, ultimately, I'm not living the way I want to live. I'm not consistently living according to my values. I keep falling back into habits that I don't want to have. And it's time for change. It's time for change.